Hey guys, Bob here from Raw Strength and Muscle, and today we're going to talk about why most people who go on low-carb diets fail, okay? Now, the problem with people going on low-carb diets is they're eating a whole lot of carbs, okay? Their body's used to burning carbs. They're getting in fiber from their carbs, okay? Their body's retaining water, a proper water level because of the carbs they're eating, okay? Then all of a sudden, they decide they're going to just give up carbs overnight, but they don't look at any of the, quote, positive benefits that they're getting from carbs. They just drop the carbs, drop the sugar, eat fat, eat meat, whatever, and they assume everything's going to run right. But the fact of the matter is, nothing is going to run right unless it's set up properly. And when you first, stop eating carbs and start going keto, that's the time when you need to make sure that everything runs right, okay? You need to have a plan to get your body off the carbs and onto fat and protein for fuel, okay? So let's go ahead and talk about this. Like I said, your body retains a lot of water because of carbs, okay? You take in carbs, changes into glucose. Glucose goes into your muscles. 1 gram of glucose, carbs, whatever you want to call it, holds 2 grams of water, okay? So basically, your body retains water because of carbs. Now, if you have a big cheat day, that's not a good thing, okay? Because you get all bloated and you feel terrible, okay? When you go off carbs, your body depletes all the glucose, it stops retaining that water, you lose a lot of bloat, a lot of water weight quickly, get good progress, get a little bit of motivation in the beginning. That's a good thing. But the fact of the matter is you need something to keep some water in your body. Otherwise, you're going to be constantly drinking, but you're still going to be thirsty, still going to be dehydrated, still going to be weak regardless of how much water you drink because you don't have the carbs anymore. So how do you replace that? You replace the carbs with electrolytes, okay? Everybody needs electrolytes. The more you sweat out those electrolytes, the more you need them. But if you're not taking in carbs, you really, really need electrolytes, okay? First of all, this is one of the reasons why I think that when people go on low-carb diets, they immediately start craving like high sodium foods like bacon. Everybody loves bacon, but when you go on a low-carb diet, you like viscerally from a primal level desire to eat bacon. Why is that? Because bacon has a lot of sodium and you need the sodium to replace the carbs, okay? Something to hold a little bit of water in your body. Now, it's not just sodium. It's potassium, it's calcium, and it's magnesium, okay? That's what you need to have in your body. So if you just put down, the donuts and pick up the ribeyes and think you're going to automatically transition into a low-carb diet without taking into account your increased need for this full spectrum of electrolytes, you're going to be having issues, okay? So that's one of the reasons why most people fail. Another thing is just drinking water in general. Now, no matter how much you drink, if you don't have the proper electrolyte balance, you're still going to be dehydrated. But the fact of the matter is you need the proper electrolyte balance, and then you need to drink water, okay? You need to drink at least as much, if not more water than you drank on your low-carb diet, your high-carb diet. Now, the problem is most people are dehydrated. They run around in a slightly dehydrated or a severely dehydrated state. Then they drop carbs and it gets even worse. And they wonder why they feel terrible on ketosis, okay? So you need to make sure that you increase your water intake as well. Speaking of increasing your water intake, another reason why you need to increase your water intake is so that you can perform proper bowel movements, okay? Lots of people talk about going on a low-carb diet and being totally constipated. There are 3 things that I've discovered that you need to remain regular when you are on low carbs. We're talking about you need to have lots of water, you need to have lots of fiber, and you need to have lots of fat as well, okay? Assuming that you do it properly or not in an extreme cutting diet, when you're low carb, you should be taking in enough fat, okay? Like I said, you should be taking enough water, but you also need fiber, okay? Most people don't get in enough fiber. Like, even if they're eating bread all day and stuff like that, they're not really getting in enough fiber or barely enough fiber, okay? Then when they drop the carbs that they're eating and they go straight keto, they really decrease the amount of fiber they're taking in. I suggest everybody use a psyllium husk fiber supplement. That basically means a sugar-free version of Metamucil or some generic brand of Metamucil, okay? I always say that I always use this supplement, okay, regardless of what I eat. People say, well, I eat vegetables, I eat salads. I don't care. Most people don't get in enough fiber. They eat a lettuce leaf somewhere on top of their hamburger and say, hey, I've eaten salad today. I don't need it. The fact of the matter is, I went for a few days on a road trip recently. I had at least 3 salads a day. Okay, I had like the Aussie Cobb salad if I stopped on the side of the road at an Outback. If I found like a Greek or a Turkish or Mediterranean kind of place, I had an excellent giant salad with some grilled chicken on top of it and some feta cheese. If I just found a deli or a decent, like gas station, I had salads. I had at least 3 big salads a day. And guess what? I didn't take my fiber for some reason. I had the bottle with me when I was traveling, but I didn't actually use the fiber. And guess what? Totally messed me up. I mean, I wasn't exactly bleeding out of my eyeballs, dying from pain, totally constipated, but things weren't the way they should be. I did not quite feel at top of my game when using the toilet, okay? So the bottom line is I always use my psyllium husk fiber supplement. Definitely one of my favorite supplements no matter what diet I'm on, but especially when I'm on a low-carb diet, psyllium husk gotta be there, okay? And the next thing that we need to talk about is you're really setting yourself up with the beginning of the low-carb diet when you're getting yourself fat adapted so that you could down the road change your body composition at will. Think of it like this. When you go to college, you're setting yourself up for the future, okay? Graduate from college, get a better job than you'd have without a degree, and then start making money. You don't try to make money while you're in college, okay? Does it really make sense to work 25 hours a day at Walmart for $3 an hour and not show up for classes, not study, not pass your exams, not do your homework, not do your projects, not do your term papers, whatever, and fail out of college because you wanted to make money while you were in college? College is not the time for you to make money. College is the time for you to prepare yourself to make money in the future. And it's the same thing here. So if you go and put your body through the ordeal, and yes, it is difficult to get off carbs and get on fat. Not that it's a bad thing. It's hard to get off heroin too. So you're trying to get yourself off of carbs and get yourself onto fat as a fuel source. And you're trying to go ahead and get lean at the same time. So you're starving yourself in addition to the fact that your body's already disrupted because you're not eating carbs. What you need to do is you need to eat fat. You need to eat a little bit more fat. If you're hungry, eat some more fat. And then after that, just for the fuck of it, eat some more fat. You should not restrict calories and you should certainly not restrict fat while you are getting your body fat adapted. Now, after a few days, a week or two, when you're feeling good eating a lot of fat, your body's fat adapted, you're feeling great. Now you could consider your macronutrients, okay? Your total caloric intake. Your carbs are already low. Your protein should be high. Now, you could play with the amount of fat you're taking in, which would mean you'd play with the amount of total calories you're taking in to go ahead and cut some body fat. But don't do that until you've gotten fat adapted. So many people want to do everything at once. They cut their calories, they cut their fat, they starve themselves, they feel like absolute rubbish. Then they say, hey, guess what? The diet didn't work, and they go back to eating donuts all day. Imagine if the same person had taken a couple days or a week or 2 weeks just getting themselves adapted to burning fat for fuel, get themselves weaned off of carbohydrates, and then for the rest of their lives, if they want to build muscle, they just eat a little bit more fat. If they want to cut fat, they eat a little bit less fat. Their calories go up and down as they want to change their body composition, and they can do that because they are already fat adapted, okay? Speaking of how uncomfortable it is to go from burning carbs to burning fat for fuel, speaking of what it's like to get off heroin, a lot of people are legitimately addicted to sugar to carbohydrates, okay? It might be psychological. It might be like a food dependence. It might be a way that they just self-sabotage. I don't deserve to be healthy. I don't deserve to be attractive. I don't deserve to be in good shape. I don't deserve to excel athletically. And the way that they sabotage that is by overeating, usually carbs. It may be a chemical thing, like legitimately addicted to carbs, or a mental thing like I've said, even a lot of people like Greg Doucette and all these people, you shouldn't vilify a fucking food group. You need to eat carbs. Even people like him say, I can't eat cereal. I can't eat pizza. I can't eat this or that, because if they start, they won't be able to stop. Okay, so these are all different ways that a carbohydrate addiction, physical or mental or emotional or whatever, can affect a person. So it is really difficult. First, get yourself fat adapted, and part of that is getting yourself off of this dependence, this addiction to carbs or sugar or whatever, okay? You need to know that it's coming. You need to be prepared for it. You need to deal with it. Then you'll be able to get yourself fat adapted on a physiological level, okay? So anyway, like I said, that's the reason why most people fail. You can't just put down the donuts and grab a steak and think, hey, everything's going to be fine. You need to take every single thing into consideration. That's just an idea of the several things you need to take into consideration. If you want to have like an exact module, like several lessons that break down every single thing you need to do to get your body fat adapted, go check out lowcarbcuttingandbulking.com, which starts with getting fat adapted, and then it goes from there to building muscle, burning fat, leaning out, body recomp, etc. on a low carb diet. If you want some personal feedback from me, go ahead and join the RSAM Brotherhood, the Raw Strength and Muscle Brotherhood, where you not only get the program, but you actually get weekly Zoom calls with me and a community where I explain to you how to do this stuff. If you have any problems, any questions, I will give you personalized advice, okay? But aside from that, thanks for watching the video. If you have any questions about fat adaptation, ask them down below. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. Click that little bell icon. I'm trying to be a lot more consistent with my uploads now. And aside from that, I will see you guys in the next video.